I got a text message from the Joint Operations Center. They said, need assets to Fremont, Nebraska. We have 7 firefighters, boats capsized in the water. They need desperate help. We typed in the grid location into the GPS, and the GPS said we had 63 miles to go. We were low on fuel to begin with. We'd been out rescuing people for about 2 hours at this point in time, but we were the only option to go. I told the pilot, I said, hey, we have to go rescue these people right now. Those guys were in a life and death situation. If firefighters are calling for help, that means there's nobody else to help them. We saw it as a no-fail mission.
Catch this new episode of Storm Story Sunday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central here on the Weather Channel. Chris?
Time to talk tropics. It is October. We're talking postseason baseball, but this is still a time of year where we have seen some pretty bad and big storms. So we're not putting tropics to bed just yet. Now we are eventually going to be putting hopefully the last big heat wave to bed here in October, if you can believe that. But the typical tracks and origins where these storms tend to develop, it's what we say as being closer to home when you think about the United States and the Caribbean, because oftentimes these systems that we see can develop all the way off from a disturbance that came off the coast of Africa and come all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. But this time of year, quite often they will form close to home, and they'll have their origins, an old front or a boundary or something close to home. And that's what we're looking at right here is the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean Sea, an area with some disturbed weather over the Bahamas right now. And as we look and dissect the atmosphere and analyze it, there is a surface trough here indicated in yellow and an upper level low, both of which can be conducive for an increase in cloud or an area of convergence and seeing at the surface convergence and seeing that air rising and seeing some showers and some storms and maybe a little bit of spin as well. However, the overall atmosphere, at least at this point, is not conducive for the development of anything tropical, at least at this point. Now, there's little seedlings out there, but it's kind of like if you plant seeds in the garden and you don't water it and you don't get any sunshine, not really going to grow. So we have the makings of some possible areas, but it doesn't look like there's anything in the near future until perhaps early next week, the southern portion of the Gulf of Mexico. There may be some broad area of spin here and maybe off the southeast coast, but nothing definitive at this point. Another area, though, that the National Hurricane Center is giving a 20% chance of seeing some development in the coming days is out here well to the east of Bermuda. And through the rest of today, we look at the European and look at the low-level spin to kind of give you an idea if anything will potentially develop. There's that little bit of circulation that may be off the southeast coast early next week and then potentially something out here. But when it's this far north and this far east, it would be pretty tough for it to move all the way back and make it all the way back to the U.S. But that all being said, we have seen in recent memory some hurricanes, categories 1, 3s, and 5s in the month of October. And again, Jackie, this is just in recent memory.
Right, absolutely. Matthew, especially, really
right, yeah.
Very recent.
Yeah, and Michael, even before that, or after
right.
that, I mean.
And
yeah.
Michael,
yeah.
So many. There have been so many, especially in the last 5 years. This weekend is upon us. And it's looking pretty good in a lot of spots.
That's right.
Did you forget it was Friday? Happy Friday, everyone.
Yeah, happy Friday.
Hooray. Great conditions across the Northeast, New England, Mid-Atlantic, all looking good with some sunshine. We'll see some active wet weather from time to time. I don't think it's going to add up to a lot across the Southeast, but that will help to cool the temperatures down.
It's going to take a little bit longer before it cools too significantly across parts of South Florida. And you don't want it to be too cool if you're visiting Florida anyways. You know, if you're coming from one of the northern locations, you want it to feel like palm tree weather.
Indeed you do, and it feels like it for sure at Lauderdale by the Sea right now, right? You've got a feels like temperature of 94 degrees. We do have the risk of rip currents today, so use some caution if you're heading into the water.
Take your time, build a home, build a place where we all can can't belong.
Give extra, get extra with new Extra Refreshers gum.
While using smartphones and tablets is second nature to us, the same may not be true for your mom or dad, which means they can find themselves isolated from you and the family.
Here you go, ma'am.
GrandPad, powered by Consumer Cellular, gives you the opportunity to change that.
Hi, Mom. You got it.
Once you've introduced your mom or dad to GrandPad, they'll be able to stay in touch just like you do, sharing photos, emails, and making video calls. They can check the weather, read the news, stream music, play games, and more. With GrandPad, it's easy, even if they've had no experience with new technologies. GrandPad arrives already set up and ready to go, and it's incredibly simple to operate and charge. As soon as GrandPad is turned on, the whole family will be able to connect via the website or downloadable smartphone app. At the touch of a button,
Hi, Mary. How can I help?
GrandPad comes with award-winning customer support from Consumer Cellular, who has been an approved AARP provider for over 10 years, so members get exclusive discounts. GrandPad is safe and secure, connecting the family on a closed private network so you don't have to worry about scams or data breaches. GrandPad comes with all these accessories, and the set monthly fee provides unlimited service, so your mom or dad can use the GrandPad as much as they like. Call or go online to order today and get our 30-day risk-free guarantee. If they're not completely happy, simply return it and pay nothing. They'll be delighted with all the ways GrandPad keeps them entertained and included. You'll rest easy, knowing your mom or dad is finally connected to the comforts of family and friends.
So, Mom, we have some big news. You're going to be a great grandma.
Introduce them to GrandPad, a gift to keep them connected. Order for your mom or dad today and get free shipping. Call 1-877-605-4624. Go online at getgrandpad.com or find GrandPad at Target.
So my husband and I are remodeling our kitchen. Do you know any good contractors?
Maybe.
Oh, that's great. Can you find me the highest rated pros, then book me the best one for the job?
You can't expect your neighbors to do everything HomeAdvisor can. So just ask HomeAdvisor.
I have always wanted to do this. This is gonna be awesome! Let's do this!
Babe, what are you doing?
Gonna demo the bathroom. Who are you?
The Bathfitter installer, remember? Bathfitter custom made our new bath to fit perfectly over the old one, so there's no demo or mess.
Impressive. Wait, so no demo? Sorry, man.
Bathfitter will remodel your bath with no messy demolition in as little as 1 day. Call now or visit bathfitter.com for a free in-home consultation.
It's showtime. You're about to see the magic show in 3 and a 2 and a 1.
I hope he makes it back okay.
On November 1st.
I hope he doesn't hurt himself.
I hope someone figures out why all the beavers have Italian accents.
No, bello.
Oui, oui.
That's French.
I'm here to destroy your town. Incoming!
We round up the bad guys, bada bing, bada boom, justice served. How about ya?
You can count on me.
Arctic Dogs, rated PG in theaters November 1st.
A blockbuster cold front moving through the country right now, and it's going to bring some big weather changes to much of the country this weekend and into the beginning of next week.
Denver, you're already noticing some of those cooler temperatures and beautiful skies overhead, and a few bugs flying around as well. But tomorrow, though, maybe a little too cool. But you know what? Here we go. It's fall. Let's get ready. Enjoy that sunshine.
Yeah, another city noticing that change, St. Louis. Showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast for the weekend, but you will be seeing the sunshine back out next week. I mean, it's gorgeous out there right now with temperatures in the mid-60s.
Look at the sun shining on the arch, the reflection.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And the fall front slowly making its way into the south by early next week. Huntsville, Alabama storms to end the weekend, but then early next week, different story. Different story on this road to fall. And the weather maker to watch, well, it's going to be this fall front that we're going to see next week. Goodbye 90s, hello 60s and 70s. And you know what, Jackie, this is really what I've been worried about for weeks, is in the southeast missing the 80s. Going from 90s to 70s, and
nothing
then
in
it's
between.
nothing in between. Then it's 60s and 50s, 40s, and we're done.
I'll take the 70s, yeah, as long
No,
as it
I
doesn't
love
go right
the
to the
70s.
40s. That's
Love the
my concern,
70s.
is that there is no fall, right?
Right.
And it's something we're going to really have to watch, I think, closely in the weeks ahead, because it is a possibility in some spots. You're looking live at Atlanta, Georgia right now. If you're taking kids to the playground, wow, beware of how hot things like swings and slides can be, right? Especially the dark colored ones.
Yeah,
You know, some of those dark green slides. Woo! It will burn your thighs on
But it
those
can
bad
be,
boys.
if it's in the straight sun, it can be even that hard plastic that's tan color. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just hot.
It can be, absolutely.
Do you remember? I don't know if you, when we were kids, the
metal ones?
the metal aluminum slides that were like 15 feet high that you climbed up.
They still have one in Mason City, Iowa. I may or may not have recently slid down that slide. But be careful.
Yes,
yeah,
be
definitely on those. So it is another hot one for a lot of folks across parts of the southeast, but that nice big change is a coming. Let's take a look at some of the temperatures that we have right now across the south and east. You know, Nashville, you did get a little bit of that break. That cold front dropped just down towards your south. You've got enough of a cool breeze coming in that you're going to stay in the 80s today. But places like Raleigh already well into the 90s, Atlanta 96 degrees. So we've broken our stretch of number of days of 90 plus in a calendar year. We're now up to 91. It's 95. That's a record for you in New Orleans, Jacksonville at 90, and just shy of the 90 degree mark here in Miami. So you add in the humidity, and the feels like temperatures are pushing 100 in spots. So it feels like 98 in New Orleans. In fact, we've got a couple of 100-degree readings already right now into Alabama as well as into South Carolina that I've seen. So all the dots that you see here on the map showing you the potential for record highs that have already been beaten or expected to be beaten before the day is over. But notice the number of them on the map today compared to where we've been earlier in this week. At least it's fewer for some. So yeah, here's the 101. Montgomery, 101. Record high, 97. Charleston, 93. Wilmington at 97. Your record is 94. And Chattanooga, Tennessee, look at this, 94. Your record is 92. So we're still really baking. Now, tomorrow, there'll still be some records. There'll be few of them here across the Appalachians and into the Carolinas and probably into northeastern Georgia as well. The focus of the heat, I think we're really going to be tracking it across parts of Mississippi into Alabama. Notice a lot of the bright pink colors beginning to show up there. So you will likely break a record in Birmingham. It's 94. New Orleans probably going to break a record once again. Nashville, it's going to be close. You're going to be in the 80s today, but 90s tomorrow. But don't worry, that bigger relief is coming. Tampa, you're going to get within a couple of degrees, getting into the lower 90s. So here's Atlanta. We mentioned the number of 90-degree days already broken now for the year. The record high for today was 91. You're up to 96. But look at these 80s. Coming for the weekend. It's not going to be a dry necessarily 80s, but we could use the rain too across the southeast.
Now, we're going to look at yesterday's temperatures to help. If you're not excited about that 80 degrees, it's just too cool for you and you like these hot temperatures. Well, I want to try to explain why people, I think, are ready for the cooler weather, no matter what it is. Because, again, it's October and this heat, it has been hanging around. It's 92 degrees right now in Raleigh, North Carolina. And Raleigh is one of the spots that did hit 100 degrees yesterday. The hottest day since July of 2017. So July is probably what you would think of. August or maybe early September for some record heat or the hottest day of the year, the hottest day in years. But it's early October. And Raleigh, 100, Montgomery, Alabama, 102. These are yesterday's high temperatures, but you can kind of see what's happening right there. That cooler air is on the way. But still, the 100-degree club yesterday included Chattanooga, included Huntsville, Meridian, Mississippi at 102. And look at Marion, Alabama, 105. Now, if you're watching, you live in any of these areas, you may say, hey, it was hot, but it didn't feel that hot. Well, it's not as humid. So you're not going to start sweating as quickly as when it could be 10 degrees cooler, frankly, and much higher dew points, more moisture in the atmosphere. Because if there's a little bit of a breeze and it's 105, it's extremely hot. You walk outside and it's hot, but it might not feel like that that walk outside and you're drenched in sweat kind of heat. It's a different kind of heat. In Raleigh, North Carolina, again, 100 degrees, hottest day in a couple of years. And as we look at yesterday's temperatures, I think this is also quite interesting. The fact that the old record, monthly warmest day in October on record, happened already this year, and it's happening again. It happened again yesterday. And what, it's the 4th today?
Yes.
You've already, half of the month of October has been the hottest October on record.
It's just incredible. I mean, it really tells you how historic this is.
Yeah.
You know, it's not unusual to break a daily record. Those happen, right? From time to time, like, oh, this year we just happened to be hotter than it was on this date. But when you're breaking all-time records for the month that have never happened before, and when you see this heat that lasts as long that it has, I mean, scientists are really going to be looking at this and talking about what kind of an impact climate change has had on all of this. All right, let's talk about the Northeast, shall we? And this is a much different story, at least today. And you can see we've got some beautiful conditions. It looks great anyway. In Boston, 60 degrees is your temperature. We've got Burlington, Vermont on the left. Your temperature is 49, certainly worth a light jacket or a sweater for today. So feeling much more like fall into New England. Now tonight, we're going to be seeing some pretty chilly conditions. In fact, we've got some frost and freeze warnings that have been issued now. And I know this is your second day of the cooler temperatures, and as skies clear out tonight, that's going to allow our temperatures to get even colder, which is why we have all the advisories more widespread for tomorrow morning compared to what we had this morning. Temperatures are going to be getting down there in some spots into the 20s and 30s. You're going to get a little frost on the pumpkin here. But if you do have any sensitive buds or plants or flowers that you want to protect, cover them up or bring them indoors if you can. So there you can see in pink the warnings and blue the advisories. Here's a look at the temperatures right now. Bangor, Maine is at 51. Boston, I mentioned, at 60. DC is going to be building in, and that's going to be drawing in some of those cooler conditions from the north. It's also going to be clearing skies out a little bit more for tonight, like I mentioned. So you get the radiational cooling that takes place, allowing us to get down towards the freezing mark. And the second day of the high is usually cooler than the first day. So tomorrow's high is likely a little chillier for a lot of us. 50s in New York, 60s in Pittsburgh, 50s in Albany, 50s also into Boston. Here's a look at some of the exact numbers in some of the bigger cities across the Northeast. Again, look at Binghamton getting down right to the freezing mark. But keep in mind, the cities, the urban areas are always a little bit warmer. You get into some of the outlying areas, and that's where we're going to be seeing some of those 20s. So that's definitely a little bit on the chilly side. You'll be getting out those pumpkin spice lattes for tomorrow morning, right? Yeah, it'll be a nice morning to chill out, read the paper maybe, watch a little Weather Channel, of course. Pittsburgh, take a look at this. Yesterday, you hit a high of 89 degrees. We are looking at temperatures into the weekend, into the upper 60s to lower 70s, and then that second punch with that next front of colder air coming in by Monday, we're talking 50s. So actually below average temperatures are going to be affecting some of these areas. New York City, our average high is 68 degrees. Saturday, we're going to be about 10 degrees cooler than that.
Soft launch.
Say a warm up. I like the soft launch.
Yeah, we're going to get we're going to kind of work the kinks out on our fall attire. See if the flannel works okay.
Oop, that doesn't fit me anymore.
that doesn't fit me anymore.